It's simple to look at the largest corporations in the world and say, I could never start something like that. But one needs to remember the majority of these businesses took decades to reach their current status. They did not initially set out to create the multi-billion-dollar corporations they are today. They began by developing an online bookstore, computer, search algorithm, or self-driving cars. What all these companies have in common is that moment. An event, idea, or the make or break decision that changed their company from small time to stratospheric. Welcome to our channel on That Moment that changed the world's largest and most influential companies. Let's start with one of the whales that changed how we shop. How did a high school McDonald's short order line cook turn an online bookstore into the world's biggest retail company? Jeffrey Preston Jorgensen was born on January 12, 1964, in Albuquerque, New Mexico. When Jeff was 17 months old, his mother divorced his father due to financial difficulties and alcoholism. In April 1968, his mother wed Cuban immigrant Miguel "Mike" Bezos. Shortly after the nuptials, Mike adopted 4-year-old Jeff and legally changed his surname from Jorgensen to Bezos. Jeff attended River Oaks Elementary School in Houston, Texas, from 4th grade to 6th grade. Jeff's grandfather, Lawrence Preston Geis, was a regional director of the U.S. Atomic Energy Commission in Albuquerque. Jeff spent many summers as a child at the family homestead near Cotulla, Texas, where Lawrence retired early. At school, Jeff showed an aptitude for science and technology. Jeff then attended Miami Palmetto High School after the family moved to Miami, Florida. In 1982, he was the valedictorian of his secondary school, a National Merit Scholar, and the recipient of the Silver Knight Award. Bezos stated in his speech at graduation that he longed for the day when humanity would colonize space. A local publication cited his desire to get all people off the Earth and see it turned into a huge national park. He graduated from Princeton University in 1986 with a 4.2 GPA and a Bachelor of Science in Engineering and Computer Science. He was a member of Phi Beta Kappa. Bezos was also the president of the Princeton chapter of Students for the Exploration and Development of Space during his time at Princeton. Jeff's that moment came when he was a student at Princeton, where his realization and intuition would change the retail industry forever. In the 1980s, Bezos was a physics major at Princeton University. Even though he was among the top 25 pupils in his honors program, Bezos believed he lacked the intelligence to compete with his fellow students. I looked around the room, and it was clear to me that there were 3 people in the class who were much, much better at physics than I was, and it was much, much easier for them. It was really sort of a startling insight that there were these people whose brains were wired differently, Bezos would later say. Bezos had this realization after struggling for hours to solve an arithmetic problem. I can't solve this particular differential equation. It's really, really hard. I'm studying with my roommate, Joe, who is also really good at math. The two of us worked on this one homework problem for 3 hours and got nowhere. Finally, he and his roommate asked Yasantha Rajakaruna Nayaka for help. We show him this problem, and he looks at it, stares at it for a while, and says, "Cosine, that's the answer." And I'm like, "That's the answer?" And he's like, "Yes, let me show you," Bezos said. He brings us into his room, he sits us down, he writes out 3 pages of detailed algebra. Everything crosses out, and the answer is cosine. I said, "Did you just do that in your head?" And he said, "No, that would be impossible. 3 years ago, I solved a very similar problem. I was able to map this problem onto that problem, and then it was immediately obvious that the answer was cosine." According to Bezos, he realized then that he should pursue a different career path.
That was an important moment for me because that was the very moment when I realized I was never going to be a great theoretical physicist. And so I started doing some soul searching. I was like, in most occupations, if you're in the 90th percentile or above, you're going to contribute. In theoretical physics, you got to be like one of the top 50 people in the world, or you're really just not helping out much.
Bezos changed his major and committed to starting and running his own business. After graduating from Princeton University with computer science and electrical engineering degrees, Bezos held various positions at a telecommunications startup and a bank. In 1994, Bezos joined the D.E. Shaw hedge fund. He rose rapidly through the ranks, and in only 4 years, he became vice president. Bezos was responsible for researching new business opportunities in the then-emerging Internet. However, when Bezos proposed a list of 20 products he could sell online, they rejected his proposal. At this point, Bezos decided it was time to go out on his own. Bezos read in late 1993 that the Internet was expanding at a rate of 2,300% per year and decided to launch an online bookstore. On July 5, 1994, he and his then-wife, Mackenzie Scott, quit their positions at D.E. Shaw and founded Amazon in a garage in Bellevue, Washington, after writing the company's business plan while driving from New York City to Seattle. I knew that I might sincerely regret not having participated in this thing called the Internet that I thought was going to be a revolutionizing event. When I thought about it that way, it was incredibly easy to make the decision, Bezos would say. Bezos wished to make a play on the mystical incantation abracadabra when he originally named his company Cadabra Inc. This decision fell through after his attorney said that cadabra sounded like cadaver. After thoroughly examining the dictionary, Bezos considered 2 names, Relentless and Amazon. However, you already know which name won that contest. After selecting Amazon.com and registering his domain name, Bezos had to decide what to sell online. Bezos still had the list of 20 products he proposed to his former employer. After narrowing this list down, he decided to launch Amazon by selling books. His rationale behind this was that there would always be a demand for books because they were not expensive, could be easily transported, and there was something for everyone among the millions of titles available. Even with its humble beginnings, Amazon got off to a booming start, generating far more revenue than Bezos believed was possible. Within 30 days, Amazon's weekly sales reached $20,000. In only a few months, they had consumers in all 50 U.S. states and 45 other countries. By the end of that year, Bezos had 250 employees working for him. Bezos realized that he needed additional capital to satisfy the unforeseen market's appetite. In 1987, Bezos decided to offer Amazon's initial public offering at $18 per share. If you were able to buy some of those shares, you could be resting on a nice fat pile of money. According to analysts, if you invested $10,000 at that time and price, it would be worth more than $12 million by May of 2020. Bezos would further innovate his online presence with a unique sales tool on the website that would become a standard in online shopping, the one-click patent. You've undoubtedly noticed the icon while buying on Amazon. This icon is likely to blame for all your impulsive purchases. In September 1999, Bezos patented this one-click purchasing technology. This patent may seem insignificant. However, this patent has transformed the online purchasing experience and significantly added to Amazon's bottom line. Improving your customer conversion rates necessitates minimizing friction during the purchasing process. This friction was reduced by that button. It eliminated the seconds in which a consumer reconsiders the items in their shopping cart. Other businesses tried to implement this technology illegally for their own benefit. Barnes & Noble, the largest tangible book retailer in the world, was one of these businesses. They were immediately sued for patent infringement. Thankfully for businesses today, the patent expired in 2017, letting any business use this option to increase their online sales potential. Amazon has grown exponentially since those early garage days. Amazon is one of the world's largest e-commerce marketplaces. Today, Amazon is also a platform for aspiring entrepreneurs to earn millions of dollars selling products online through affiliate programs. Amazon is often referred to as the everything store because it sells nearly everything imaginable, including novelty coffee mugs, high-end laptops, streaming services, and possibly tickets for space travel in the future. This extensive selection of goods and a customer-centric business model explain why Amazon is one of the world's most well-known companies. Bezos has consistently ranked among the top 3 wealthiest individuals on the planet. And what about Dr. Yasantha Rajakaruna Nayaka? I am not the richest person in the world, or the smartest person, but the richest person in the world called me the smartest person at Princeton University and a fellow Sri Lankan friend who influenced his life choice while an undergraduate. The world has Rajakaruna Nayaka to thank for inadvertently being that moment and the reason we have Amazon.com.